Hi friends, this is Loli. Welcome. Let's jump into the first inspiration piece. I was inspired by this door hanger from Meghan from Glue Guns and Roses, and I was inspired to create my own using our own family initial and just giving it a different twist. To do this, I used this wood round that I got from Dollar Tree. I removed the hanger and all the embellishments. It had quite a few places with lots of glue, so I removed those. And then I sanded off the center that had all that glitter. I made sure that everything was nice and like smooth. I had no bumps. Removed the paper wherever it was bumpy and sanded it down to make sure to make everything as even and as smooth as possible. Then I took some of this vinyl I got from Dollar Tree as well, making sure that my squares were nice and straight, and make sure also that my vinyl was nicely adhered and had no bubbles. And then I'm going to take a little mat I got from Dollar Tree that's self-healing, and I'm going to use my utility knife to cut off all of the excess vinyl around the entire round. Then I took some of this burlap fabric from Dollar Tree and cut off a section that was big enough to fit there in the middle portion of my round, and make sure that my edges were nice and straight. First, I'm going to attach one side using a little bit of hot glue. I added the hot glue in 3 different sections to make sure I have everything in place in one side, so I can make sure that this is as square as possible. Once that was dry, I went over and added hot glue to the other side. But first, here I am actually trimming off that excess, making sure that everything is even. And then here I am adding a little bit of hot glue, holding that fabric taut to make sure that it stays nice and taut and it's also neat. And once that was secured correctly, I took my scissors and cut off the excess from the sides. Then I took the pieces I took off before, and I'm going to add them again on the edge here, leaving some of that frayed burlap exposed. I just added some hot glue on it and placed it right down, placed it in place until it was placed it in place. Placed it on there until it was secure, and I repeated the same thing with the top piece. Then I took this D that I had left over from a different piece from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to attach it right there to the middle of the burlap. Then I'm going to take some jute cord, and I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue in the tip and thread some black beads right onto this jute cord. And just go ahead and tie it to the holes of the wood round right here to replace the hanger that was there before. My friends, I just want to take a quick moment to say thank you so much for clicking on my video. I hope you enjoy it. To my subscribers, thank you so much for all the encouragement and all the support you give me each day, and you know I love you dearly. And if you have not subscribed yet, guys, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell and set it to all so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. It's all free and it means the world to me. Alright guys, so here we're going to add some embellishment. I'm using these little pieces I got from Dollar Tree, and I am cutting off the wire off of them, and I'm just going to butt them against each other like this, as you see right there, over the top of my D. And I'm going to take one of these same wires that I cut off to tie this in place, and I'm going to use my snips to make sure that the wire is nicely flat so it doesn't poke anyone. Then I'm just going to bend it downward a little bit and glue it with some hot glue right there where the hole for the D was. Then I'm coming in with these berries, frosted berries that I got last year from Dollar Tree as well, and I'm going to just cut the wire off of them and attach this to the middle of the pine there. I added 3 of them, 2 next to each other, and then I'm going to add 1 at the very top. And this is pretty much it, guys. You'll see it again in the final reveal. My friends, this video is part of our collaboration. It is a Christmas in July recreation inspiration open collaboration, and it is hosted monthly by Amanda from 6 Kids and a Glue Gun, Sharleen from the Crafty Art Shack, and the guest host this month is Beth from Pearl Treasure Designs. The link to the playlist and to their channels will be in the description box below and pinned in the comments. Don't forget to visit the playlist. For the second inspiration this evening, I was inspired also by Meghan from Glue Guns and Roses, and then she made this banner. I'm going to use this for mine. This is burlap banner that came from the Dollar Tree. It comes with 6 pieces to it. So I took my Cricut and I cut the word Xmas for Christmas, and she had used Noel, but I wanted something different. So I used the X and I'm going to just place it on there on my burlap pieces. I just left the first one empty and I started with my letters from the second one until I put down all 4 letters, and that kept one more empty on the other side. So you see there how it was, just making sure that nothing fell off. And I just reinforced the edges with a little bit of hot glue to make sure that this didn't fall off. And then I took 2 of these snowman ornaments from Dollar Tree and placed it in the first and last banner. And here it is, all complete. It is so stinking cute. But first, in order to hang it, I made knots on both sides, leaving a little loop at the end, so I was able to hang it on my fireplace. You'll see it again on the final review. For the third inspiration, I was inspired also by Meghan. She made this cute little gnome using some Dollar Tree products, including a planter. I wanted mine to be in a smaller scale, so I used some different materials. I decided to use one of these bases from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to use a mop also. And I was trying to get the work here done, but here, this little boy kept looking for attention, if you see him there in the corner. I tried removing that piece as best as I could, but I couldn't. So I just tried different things. And there goes Chansey again. Anyway, I ended up using my wire snips and snipping one of the sides of the piece that holds that mop in place, and then lifted that piece that was in the middle and removing all the strands that I thought I was going to use. Now I'm taking the strands and I'm going to put them as even as possible as I can. So I just kept buttoning them by the edges until I completely had a few there. Then I decided to paint the inside of my jar halfway down in black and let it dry. Then I tied the strands of the mop in the middle, like you see me doing there. And now I'm going to begin to unravel each one of the mop pieces. So I just, from one, it turned out to 4 different strands. And I did that until I unraveled the entire bunch that I had there. And this is what it looked like. Then I took this and I placed it in the opening of my vase. I added some hot glue on the rim of the vase and glued it on. I didn't show you that in the camera, but I did that. And gave it a little trimming. Then I took this little top hat that I got from Dollar Tree. I was looking for a small gnome hat. Couldn't find one, so I figured, you know what, let me try it with this. I took that, I glued it on, and I'm going to add a light to this. I wanted to give it a little twist, so I wanted to add a lighting feature to this DIY. So I placed my little tea light, changing color tea light candle I got from Dollar Tree backwards into there with the knob facing outward, so it's easier to turn on and off. And then I glued on the hat to the top of that by gluing it on top of the mop head. Held it in place till it dried. Then I came in with a little half a bead and placed it on there. But guys, this to me looked like Cousin It going to a Christmas party. So I figured, let me just try something else. Maybe if I give it feet, it will not look so much like Cousin It and more like a gnome. So I took this piece of cardboard and I am cutting out some little spaces, as you see there, trying to give this little feet. So I trimmed it until it was kind of the size or proportional with the gnome. I wanted the feet to be a little bit bigger, but not too much. And then I took the cardboard and I painted it with 2 coats of black. Dried it with my heat gun, and we're gonna go ahead and take it and add some burlap over this. So I just used a little hot glue on all the edges. Sorry there, I hit the camera with my glue. And I am gluing the burlap down to this. And once I go around the entire thing right here, just making sure to go in small sections so I make sure that it's nice and taut. And I did that as well. And now we're going to fold over the remainder pieces towards the bottom section of that piece. I did not paint the bottom section because I was going to put a piece of cork underneath of it. I didn't do it yet. I am going to do it. I totally forgot after, it was late this night, so I wasn't able to do everything I had in plan. But anyway, so this is what it looked like when I was done. So I'm going to now glue the jar onto these feet. But it still looked like Cousin It. So I was like, maybe it's just me. Let me just look at it for a little while. Nope, Cousin It. So I decided to go back to the drawing board, and I took this mini Christmas tree skirt and I cut a piece that was big enough for me to create a proper hat for my gnome instead of top hat. So then I go ahead and I circled it like you see me there, and I added a little bit of hot glue in the very tip and glued that one first. I want to make sure that it was nicely closed, and then I glued the rest with some hot glue, just making sure to keep everything nice and straight and as neat as possible. I measured to make sure it was still the size that I thought, and yep, it fit perfectly. It was nice and taut. But here, well, as you see, I removed the top hat because I wasn't liking that. Now I'm adding some bags to the hat so it stays nicely erect on there, and I added 2 small bags to that. And now we're going to reattach the little nose. Place it right on there, right underneath of the brim of the hat. And there is Chansey and Chloe going crazy as usual, playing. And guys, I still was not satisfied. So I said, you know what? I'm going to give this a skirt. I'm going to make this a girl gnome, I decided here. So I lifted up this section there, and I'm going to just, instead of using the black in the bottom, I'm just going to cover the bottom using some more of this fabric. I just cut a piece that was big enough to fit around it, and it'd be nice and snug, and also have a nice little flare that, skirts have. And then just attached it with hot glue right on there. Guys, when you watch my videos, always look out for these two. They're always doing this when I'm crafting. They love to wrestle around the whole house, playing with each other, chasing each other. And Chance just loves trying to get Chloe's tail, and she does not let him. It is just comical to watch them. Anyway, you see in there how I'm adding the skirt onto the glass there, making sure to have the seam, especially the seam, be nice and level and even. And then I just wrapped the rest of the fabric around the vase until it was nicely taut, using the scissors to help me not get burnt. And here we put in the hat back on. And let's see how this ends up looking. It was kind of cute, but I still wasn't happy. So I had to go back in and trim that beard. At this point, it's a beard. They make it a little bit shorter because I wanted to make sure that this gnome's threads were visible. I wanted, people to be able to see the skirt and everything on here. And I also gave it a haircut because guess what? With all that hair in the face and all that fabric and stuff, guys, you cannot see the lights that I added at the back there. So I did some more of my trimming, trying to make it look as realistic as possible. I don't know how I'm trying to achieve that, but I did. I tried to at least. And this is what it looked like so far. I decided to add a little pom-pom, a white pom-pom at the very top of my hat there. Then I'm like, you know what? I want this to be bent over. So I bent it like this and added some hot glue in the middle and pressed it and held it in place until it dried. I didn't want the thing to be all the way. So this is what it's looking like so far, right? So then I decided to embellish my hat a little bit by adding some of that pine that I used for the wreath in the beginning. Just attached it to the very top of the hat there using some hot glue. And I took one of the berries also and attached it right there at the base of the pine. And then guys, remember how I told you that my light doesn't show? in the front, so I decided to cut off a section at the front of the gnome of that fabric that's wrapped around the vase now, and to allow some of that light to shine through. So I just kind of like I took off a U shape of the fabric on that section, and then I glued the edges down to make sure that it was secure and nicely in place. Okay, you see me cutting off a little bit more. I just wanted to make sure to have as much light show through the beard, and then attached everything with some hot glue, and there you see. So now I'm like, this is too hairy, so let's give it another haircut. And then here I'm coming in, guys, using the same hairs. I'm parting it to the size, and I'm going to create 2 pigtails here because this is a girl gnome with cute little pigtails. And I tied the edges using some jute cord. Now here, using small pieces from the same Christmas tree skirt that I used for the hat and the skirt, I'm going to make small little bows for the very tip of my pigtails here. So I just cut it like in a rectangle, scrunched it up in the middle, and tied it in the middle with a piece of jute cord, and also burned the edges of it to avoid any unraveling and to kind of give the portion there like a more rounded bow effect to the edges there. But just be very careful here because this material was very flammable. It wanted to catch fire, so I had to work very quickly. Then I added a little bit of hot glue and added that little bow to the pigtail there. That bow, you see, there was a little bit too big. I came back in and fixed it later on off camera, but here you will see me create another one. And this one I created a little bit smaller, doing the same exact thing that I did with the previous one, just cinching the bow in the middle, tying it up with some jute cord right there in the middle, and just burning off the excess of cutting off the excess jute cord and burning off any excess fabric from the sides as well, and rounding off the edges. Then I attached the bow to the other side using a little bit of hot glue, and you will see it again in the final reveal, which is now. Here, guys, so here is the first one. This is how my little door hanger ended up. Here is the little gnome lady. Tell me know how you like this one. And in a second, you're gonna see the banner. And this came out so stinking cute. I love it. Don't forget to tell me which one is your favorite. And here is the gnome in the dark. This is what it shines through when the color changing lights that are inside of it are on. Let me know what you think of all 3 of these and which one is your favorite. Don't forget to leave me a comment. So my friends, this is what I created today. As always, thank you so much for watching. Be blessed, be a blessing, and craft responsibly. And if you would like to follow me on social media, here are my social media links. And friends, be sure to head on over to the playlist so you don't miss out on some amazing creations. And if you would like to watch one more of my videos, here is a suggestion, and don't forget to subscribe. It is all free and it means the world to me. Thanks again for watching. Take care of yourselves. Bye.